Good morning. I hope that you guys are doing well today. Get myself together. I got on here to make a quick video as the Lord is leading me to do so. Okay. I don't want to talk about that. I just said, Dad, I don't want to talk about this. But I'm going to be obedient because, we never know how our story, our testimonies can help somebody else. And so we are overcome by the blood of the Lamb, and what's the scripture? And by the blood of our testimony. I think that's it. Okay. Being a special needs parent is one of the most challenging things I have ever had to do in my entire life. And mind you, I had my first daughter when I was 14 years old. Having a child, not knowing what I was doing, not even knowing or understanding how to express love. Like, at 14, your brain is not developed to nurture a child because you are a child, okay? And so, even in going through that, I made it through that, right? With the help of my parents. Thank God I had parents that were still open to me going to school and getting my education and willing to help even when I first went off to college. And so going through that was a lot, I thought. But being a parent to a special needs child is a lot more challenging than anything that I've ever faced in my life. And sometimes, we see the beauty in God's doing. We see the beauty in our story. We see that, God trusted me so much that He allowed me to have typical children, and He's allowing me to mother a special needs child as well. So apparently, He knows something that I don't. Like, He knows a lot more about my parenting skills and my ability to train up these children as He desires, because He gave them to me. And so those thoughts are all great, right? Those are great thoughts. But then there's the downside of things where, we live in life where it operates by laws. So as things go up, things go down. There's an in, there's an out, there's a up, there's a down. So in having those thoughts that are encouraging, that are motivating, there are also times where other thoughts try to take hold of my mindset, and the questions of why start to take place. Why, Lord, am I dealing with this? Why did you allow this? But then it causes me to think about Job, his good and faithful servant. And Job didn't have it easy. He tested Job. You guys know the story of Job. If you don't, go read it. He tested Job to his core because he understood that no matter what, Job was still going to be faithful to him. That says a lot about an individual. And so sometimes, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if Job ever wanted to give up. Did Job ever question God? Like, God, why are you allowing these things to happen? But even in those questions, he still reverenced God. He still praised Him. He never cursed Him, right? And I can say the same thing about myself. Now, I'm not Job, right? I'm not Job. But even in going through these things, I haven't cursed God. Have I questioned God? Have I cried out to God? Absolutely. But there was something in me. There is something in me that God saw when He implanted that seed of my daughter in my belly at 14 years old, when He implanted all of my other children and my special needs child in my belly, he knew that I had the strength and capability to do whatever he's called me to do with those seeds that he allowed to manifest in my uterus. Okay. Now, although the acts may not have been of God, right? Because that was before marriage. But God, in turn, allowed those things to happen. He allowed those things to happen. And so there are times where, this road gets very difficult and very linear, especially when you're accustomed to doing things a certain way, and then all of a sudden your life is turned totally upside down. It does like a 360 or more, and now you have to worry about this and that and this and that and this and that, where it was a point in your life where you could just go, right? You could just go, not worry about all of these things. But maneuvering life as a special needs parent is not always that way, right? And we're creatures of habit, and so we learn to adapt. And so doing this for 11 years now, I've adapted, but that doesn't mean that it's not times where things feel really tough, right? But then I think about the upside of things, right? Well, although my son is nonverbal, he is able to walk. I know special needs parents that have, and even some of his friends that are not ambulatory. They can't walk. So we have to stop and be grateful for the things that we do have. Although those things may not be ideal, we may not like it, we may not, prefer to go through it, there's somebody out there that's doing worse than you. I remember my dad would tell me that when I was a child, when I was a kid, there's always somebody else doing worse than you. And that is so true, because although a wheelchair can be helpful for him when we're maneuvering out in large spaces that are going to require a lot of walking, he doesn't need it. He can walk. We don't have to push him around, right? And so he's not bedridden, right? Because I know I was just thinking about one of his friends that are. And so I say that to say this. In everything that we go through, there's always an upside to that. There's always an opportunity to expel the gratitude from the suffering. There's always an opportunity to be grateful for something. There's always an opportunity to express to God how grateful for you are to him for not giving up on you, for not allowing you to go through some things that are a lot worse. My son got up this morning. Yes, he needed help with getting his clothes on, but he can lift up his legs, he can walk, he ran down the stairs, he walked to the bus. Some kids are being pushed to the bus. Some kids are not able to stand up and get their clothes put on. Some kids are 11 years old that are laying down on the bed and their parents have to get them dressed. I didn't have to do that. Thank God. So in everything, be grateful, because there's always an opportunity to expel gratefulness from the suffering. And I always make this joke with God. I'm like, one of the fruits of the Spirit is long suffering, Lord. And I would say this, opportunity to parent a special needs child is long suffering. So because I am long suffering on a daily basis, I would assume that because of that, you're going to really repay me for this, right? Like I'm getting something out of this. But nevertheless, I already have enough if God doesn't choose to give me anything else. I have his son Jesus that went to the cross to die for me. My soul is saved. I'm delivered. I'm able to move, walk, have my being, do what I need to do. So overall, I am blessed. If God chooses not to give me anything else, I am blessed. So be blessed and remember to be grateful.